Hey everybody, welcome back to the Resident Evil 1 commentary. I hope you like math, because we're going to do math today. Oh, I love math. You like math? Guess not.
Math blasters.
Oh man, you're not
Literally.
gonna have a calculator in your pocket everywhere you go when you grow up, said my second grade teacher, ignorant of the future.
Well, who's laughing now? It says successful BrainScratch commentator Ted.
Probably her, actually, because she has a real job.
I remember being told that so many times as a kid.
Also, you will only be writing in cursive from now on. That's my other favorite elementary school lie.
Man.
Yeah, so the boss fight of this area is Plant 42, and like we mentioned earlier, you have two ways of dealing with it. You can either go the brute force method, and they give you plenty of flame rounds for it too, especially in Jill's case, or you can make what this game calls V-JOLT, using a array of chemicals found in one of the rooms. But to make the correct chemical, you have to actually follow a recipe that's scribbled all over the walls and on the file that you just picked up there, and it requires you to, mix chemical 1 with chemical 3 to make chemical 4, then chemical 4 with chemical 3 to make chemical 7. It's basic math, but it's like, given the game's limited inventory and how many you have to keep pausing between each time to combine chemicals and all that sort of shit.
That sounds straight up a Zero Escape puzzle, actually.
Now here's the thing. In the remake, if you were to walk through that door and see the plant there, what would wind up happening is the plant would bar the doors. So you wouldn't be able to get back out. So in order to do the V-JOLT puzzle, you actually have to do it before you go in there.
So
Yeah,
does the puzzle,
you're free to
if
leave.
you use the V-Jolt, does that kill it on instantly, or does it just
No.
make the fight easier?
It makes it significantly weaker. Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're pumping a lot of flame rounds into it. It's possible, and if you struggle long enough, Barry will come to help you.
Yeah.
But you can completely bypass it if you use V-JOLT. But again, it requires math.
Is it the same? Is it the same solution every time?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I think in the remake, Barry showing up to help you was just something that happens at the beginning.
I don't remember.
Or
honestly.
at least, like, partway through the fight, Jill gets caught by the vines and Barry shows up to help. I forget. I just don't remember a time when I played this as the remake as Jill where Barry has not shown up.
But in order to even get into the room with the V-JOLT solution, you need a special code, and you find that code in this billiards table. It's random though, on a 3 digits, so you can't power your way through it. I mean, I guess you could. It's only 3 digits. So
Unfortunately, someone came by earlier and bumped into the pool table, and now everything's scattered, and you can
Here's the
never figure
thing
it out.
about those kind of number puzzles, though, John, is that a lot of them in these games are programmed so that there's no code at all until you find the code.
Oh, I hate it when they do that, though. It's
no.
annoying.
I've read it up. The code is predetermined as soon as the game starts, between a selection of think like 10 or 12. So if you know those beforehand, then it's possible to brute force your way. But it's like, if you don't want to waste any time, then you just go to the billiards and find the code out there.
So the code will never be like 752, for example. It might be that, but I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. But
It's off a list.
Yeah.
Because my test playthrough, it was 345. But now it was 958. Yeah, I know. So it's like, when you look at that, it's like, fuck me.
Someone was paid to work on the security here.
actually, considering Umbrella, they probably weren't. Let's be fair here.
Well, yeah, the whole backstory of George Trevor's family is that they hired this guy to build this mansion, and then they kidnapped his family and him, used his family in experiments, and eventually killed him off.
Wow, that's pretty
So
shitty.
this is the room. So you have the equations on the wall. Yeah, 1 plus 2. I mean, basic
2 plus
math,
2
but it's
is
like,
4.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. If Barney had to handle with methamphetamine, it's pretty much.
Now,
it'd be more
kids, to
interesting
deal
than
with the
this.
zombie menace, we need to mix the chemicals using
I
basic
love you, you love me. De-head those zombies easily.
D-head. B-head.
No, I mean, I guess it sort of makes sense. I'm going to de-head you.
Look out, it's the undead.
This is a part I actually dreaded in the recording process because I struggled a bit here in the test playthrough because it took me like a good 15 minutes just to make sure all the items were in place. But then I ended up brute forcing my way through it for this session without having to pause, and I was like, that was luck. It's like, you got fucking lucky, you idiot.
Does the timer not go down if you're paused?
No, there's no time limit to any of this.
So then why would you need to pause then?
Well, because finding out the right numbers and which one have I made yet, because you have to.
Oh, okay.
You have to make there are already specific concoctions on the shelves that are numerical values according to the equation. You have to make the other numerical values.
Oh,
like there's no chemical 4. You have to make 4 yourself by combining 1, which is water, and chemical 3. So 1 plus 3 equals 4.
Can Can you not have enough inventory space on you to do this puzzle?
They give you 4 bottles. If you know what you're doing, you only need 3.
Okay. No, but I mean, like, if your
space.
inventory is full, do you have to go and dump stuff?
You have to go put. Yeah, you do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Luckily, there is a save room right around the corner from this.
Oh, okay. So at least there's.
You got a bottle. More importantly, you got a bottle.
Oh, I wish we could put fairies in this shit.
Oh man, we can defeat the Lord of Darkness with this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, just jam a bottle up Tyrant's ass.
I mean, honestly, for Resident Evil standards, knocking back a bazooka shot with an empty bottle probably wouldn't even crack top 10. So, you know.
No, that's more Twin Snakes, I would say.
Have you seen the ending to Resident Evil 4? All right.
I think it's possible, like, if you get a really bad combination here, you can actually flood the room with toxic fumes.
You make poison, and you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, so you have to leave the room and let it air itself out.
Like, open a window. There's no windows here. By the way, I love rooms with no background music or noise.
That's my least favorite thing. Okay, well, here's the thing. It can be eerie if it's done on purpose, for atmosphere. Silence can be very, very well used. But if it's just...
I think they were just trying... At this point, they were just trying to help you concentrate on not screwing up the V-JOLT formula.
But it bothers me whenever the game is just silent for seemingly no reason, like not to build tension. It's just like, we didn't want to put music here, so you're just going to listen to nothing. And I'm like, oh... It makes it feel very empty to me.
It depends. Sometimes a moment of silence is just a pleasant thing, but that's a situational choice. Anyway, yeah, you got to go all the way down to the shark area in order to apply the V-JOLT to Plant 42's roots. Fortunately, John has spared us the ordeal of actually walking back down there.
How long does it take normally?
Like 5 minutes.
It's not that far, but it's still annoying.
No. Far enough to be annoying, yes.
I'm guessing if you were trying to like speedrun it, you'd just kill it the hard way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah. And yeah, we still have to take care of the boss though, and this is. I'm guessing it's immune to regular grenade rounds, because my shots are going through this son of a bitch, and it's not until I decide to switch to the flame rounds that I start getting results, which just pisses me off because, like, fuck, those are perfectly good grenade rounds. Yeah, 1 flame round.
Well,
now it's the blob on the floor.
Thank God, I gotta clean that up.
Really, in the end, aren't we all just blobs on the floor?
No, we have spots.
I'm a blob on a chair.
Which is also on the floor.
Yeah.
Can you get the key without killing Plant 42?
I want to say the vines are blocking the fireplace.
Anyway, yeah.
Otherwise, if that was the case, then fuck, why did I waste all that time with that V-JOLT?
And that was the goal of the guardhouse, to get the last key for exploring the mansion.
Yeah. The last 2 rooms, I want to say, for exploring the mansion, which are tied to the plot, but... Yeah, that's the only reason why we're here. And in case you do get poisoned, because there are a couple of areas where you can get poisoned. The tarantulas most likely will be the culprits. There are blue herbs immediately to the right here.
Wesker,
This is kind of a Resident Evil tradition where there's just this
Jill.
Hey
this
there,
So
baby.
you're safe.
this one sort of side area
That's what
that you
I
go
was going
into
to
before
say.
going back to the
Where
main
on earth
area.
have you been? You
It's just
disappeared
in
from the
Resident
hall
Evil
all of a
2,
sudden.
they made it part
I'm
of the main
sorry,
area by
but
making
I
it the
have my
basement.
reasons. Perhaps you guys have met them? It was all I could
Do
do
the monkey
to
with me.
protect myself against those strange creatures.
Is that right? Anyway, it's
And
good
now-
to see you're safe.
Correct me if I'm wrong, in the live action intro, wasn't the costume Wesker was
Our
wearing
first
more
priority is
colorful?
to get out of here.
He was definitely in the remake.
Yes,
It was
You're right.
it was kind of like the traditional blue police uniform with a vest.
Now there are
Yeah,
a lot of
here
rooms
he's-
in that
This one's
mansion
just
that
yeah,
we
it's
can't
just
get into
very
because
black.
they're
He's
locked
already
up.
rocking his
I
Resident
have
Evil
been
5
looking
look.
around for clues.
A little bit, yeah.
No, I don't hear that leather
Let's see if I can
squeaking.
find any
Yeah,
clue.
Will you do
the
that?
odd thing about
I'm
Wesker is
counting
that
on you.
if you pay attention to the way his story develops over the series, it's kind of slapdash. It's like they had no plans.
No,
They
clearly
didn't know
they
this
didn't.
guy was going to come
He
back.
was clearly supposed to die in this game.
Yeah, and the novels especially make this. You do that too, huh? Just make
Yeah.
sure to step on all three of them. The novel especially makes it pretty obvious that Wesker was not planned to come back, because there's like a dedicated death scene for him in the first novel. But then
When was it written?
Well, it was written before Resident Evil 3.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another awkward thing. Only Resident Evils 1 and 2 were out when the novels were first written. So in the Resident Evil 2 novel, there's this prologue scene that involves Jill leaving the city. And then in the Resident Evil 3 novel, Perry had to write this scene, this explanation for why she came back. after
Oops, shot my
leaving.
house keys.
Yeah, so a bit awkward, and it's similar for Wesker. There's a scene in the Resident Evil 1 novel where Wesker dies, and then he's back in Code Veronica. So when the Code Veronica novel happens, they kind of had to she kind of had to write around her own scenes there.
How did you survive? Use the Dragon Balls.
You can sort of see the point at which S.D. Perry gave up trying to make a good series out of Resident Evil, though, because when the Resident Evil 0 novel happens, it's like she's already done all this stuff with Rebecca and had Rebecca play a prominent role in the first novel, especially. So how does that mesh with Resident Evil 0? The answer is not very well. There's nothing after Resident Evil 0 either. When Resident Evil 4 happened, it's like, okay, this series is so obviously going in a different direction now. There's like, quit while we're ahead.
She just stopped then, I'm guessing. So
Yeah.
we don't ever get to hear a novelization of being chased by a giant stone statue? Ever?
We don't.
Oh.
Not from S.D. Perry, anyway. In any case, the novel series in particular was really playing up the "it's up to us to take out Umbrella" thing, you know. So